Welcome to Ounces and Miracles. Hi, I'm Tracy.
I'm Destiny.
This is a podcast for NICU parents, created by NICU parents, where tiny beginnings grow into hope through stories because every ounce is a victory and every story matters.
Period. So, today we're starting with Tracy's story. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your NICU journey?
Um, where do I begin? I guess we could start all the way at the beginning, maybe.
Start with the pregnancy. What was the pregnancy like, and when did you first realize that something was different with your pregnancy?
Probably the minute I found out I was pregnant. Truly. I just was scared that something was gonna happen. Almost subconsciously I knew something was gonna happen. Like I don't really think I got sick until around the 20-week mark when we went to the anatomy scan and they had told us that Kyrie had a 2-vessel umbilical cord. And what does that mean?
Right.
And they were said, "Well, normally they have 3, so she's getting less nutrients, but she'll be okay. She'll just be a little smaller." They wanted to monitor it. They scheduled me to come back in, like, 2 to 3 weeks. That time I was extra nervous just because obviously I was worried about her. And that time they told me that my cervix was shortening. Oh, cool. I'm about to be 23 weeks, and the doctor said, "Well, the good news is that your viability." Honestly, I had no idea what a preemie was. I worked in a NICU, but that's where me being naive came from is, yeah, I worked in a NICU, but I thought it was just full-term babies that had issues. I didn't realize that they were preterm babies and there were micro preemies. So, when we discovered the shortening, they prescribed me progesterone. And I personally feel like, and my husband personally feels like, that is kind of what triggered it because the moment we used the first suppository, I was so ill. I could not
So,
keep
wait,
food
what
down.
exactly is progesterone used for? Like, what is that supposed to do for your body or for your pregnancy?
Honestly, I'm not even sure. I guess in their minds, they thought that it would help my cervix from shortening. I just said, "Okay," because at that time, I was just like, "I don't wanna have a premature baby," so or, something worse
Right.
happened. I just agreed to it. Dumb, but I just did it anyway, and then I became so sick. I was up all night getting sick, and it was so frustrating. Then I remember 2 or 3 days before she was delivered, we had went to West Virginia to visit my cousin, and that's when everything seemed a little off. I started to feel upper right quadrant pain, uh,
Mm.
right under my chest, into my back, and then my vomit was foam,
Oh,
and it
no.
was weird.
Yeah.
So, w that Tuesday when we got back, I woke up in the middle of the night, I was vomiting, yeah, I just didn't feel good. I shook Bruce and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the hospital and see if they can give me some Pepcid," because it felt like I had heartburn really
Mhm.
bad. Went, they monitored her, did blood work, urine samples, and everything, took my blood pressure, and gave me the IV Pepcid, and I felt brand new. My pain stopped, my heartburn stopped, I thought I was good to go,
Right.
and I wasn't. The doctor came rushing back in, she was about to get discharged and said, "Not going anywhere. Something came off very abnormal in your urine, and we wanna keep you for additional monitoring." So I texted him and he was like, "Oh, am I not going to work?" And I was said, "Probably not, but we'll see." It's like 2 AM at this
Yeah.
time, and I had so no idea what was going on. The doctors were in and out, taking blood pressure. They put a catheter in to monitor my urine. And then one of the doctors came in and said, "Your protein is incredibly high." I think he phrased that as your kidneys are not doing good.
Uh,
Eh, well, now what?
right,
So they came in, they did an ultrasound on her. They did an ultrasound on my gallbladder because they were like, maybe you're having a gallbladder attack. They kind of were similar in a
right.
way. Then they discovered that my liver enzymes were incredibly elevated and my platelets were dropping. They said, "Ooh, we need to send you somewhere else because our NICU only takes 32 weeks and up. We do not take 23 weeks for babies."
Right.
And I was 23 and 6, so I was 1 day shy of 24 weeks. And they always say 1 extra day in the womb is 1 less month in the NICU. So, come on, 1 more day. Just give me 1 more day. And when by then I texted Bruce, I was like, "Things are happening, you need to get here."
Well,
As soon as he walked in the room, they were like, "We're transferring her, and the ambulance is here." And he was like, What?"
right.
I okay, what is happening?" They gave me a shot for her steroids
Mhm.
that sucked,
Yeah.
and and then off I went, and the 2 gentlemen in the ambulance were great, honestly. They were trying to make me feel so comfortable and just talk me through it, and they were like, "Yeah, my wife just had a baby," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that
Not the
congratulations."
same, but
Yeah,
thanks.
right. Yeah, not the
Yeah,
same, but thanks for trying to make me
right.
feel normal. And when I got to the next hospital, which I had loved and adored them, they put me on magnesium. And some people say they felt like they were on fire. I
One of those
felt
people.
I felt like I was on fire, but at the same time, I felt like loopy, almost intoxicated. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I wasn't functioning. I
Oh,
don't even remember what they were saying because I was just so
you were completely out.
out of it, completely out of it. Then they came in and they were like, "We want the NICU doctor to come talk to you." And that's when I kinda looked at Bruce and I was like, "Is this serious?" Then the NICU doctor came and sat down with us and was like, "Oh, thankfully, there's a 60% chance of survival.
Right,
Cool, so at least we have a 60% chance of survival, but what about the 40%?
right,
We don't wanna think about that because, the doctor at the time was so confident in his ability, and I give him that because he was a damn good doctor.
yeah,
He was like, "Nope, she's gonna come out, she's not gonna have any brain bleeds. I got everything in the bag, we're good."
right,
And he kept that promise. 100% he kept that promise. And I thought he had the worst bedside manner ever. He was so cold, and I was still on magnesium. I have no effing idea what's going on. I think you're just being mean.
yeah,
And you're really not. You're being honest. Then they came in and they were like, "Everything's getting worse. We were hoping we could keep you pregnant for another day, but we can't. Your platelets have dropped into the 80s. You might need a blood transfusion. We're afraid that when we give you the C-section, you could potentially bleed out."
right.
Cool, I love this for me. Then the nurse comes and she holds my hand, and I was like, "Is she coming today?" And she was like, "She is coming today." I never thought I would get emotional talking about that again.
It happens. I feel it.
They put me in the chair, and they're wheeling my down there. Bruce is anxiously waiting, to go in because they gotta wait 15 minutes
Yeah,
for you to get prepared, situated. And I don't even remember the prep, honestly. They did it so fast. They
No.
gave me oxygen. They gave me, a bucket because I started vomiting because I am one of those lucky people that gets anesthesia and vomits. So Bruce is holding the bucket next to my
Plumbing.
face. I know. And I'm numb. I can't
Right.
feel anything. I'm having a panic attack. I'm so tired that I start falling asleep. And he got scared, and he started shaking me, and he's like, "You need to wake up." I'm just gonna close my eyes for a little bit. And he was like, "Please, like, don't do that." And they get ready to pull her out. I guess they had pulled out the sack
Mm,
with her in it, because they did a classical C-section. So they went, what is it, horizontal and then vertical. Um, and they pulled it out and they were like, "Oh, she's really tiny." And they're like, "Don't expect to hear anything." Then Bruce is, like, holding my hand, and I'm like, "I don't know, I just really hope that she's okay." And he's like, "She's gonna be fine." "But how do you know?" And they're like, "Alright, she's out," and she let out this giant scream from, like, this tiny little body, and Bruce and I just looked at each other and started crying. Doctor was like, "Oh, she's feisty, she's fighting us." And that's when I was like, "Yeah, she's gonna be fine." And she was still attached to my placenta for a little bit. I think they kept her on it for a while because that gives you
yeah,
oxygen.
she needed that extra blood.
Yeah. Yeah, because it took them 2 hours to intubate her. I found that out after the fact that they were unsure if they were going to because she was only 1 pound. Yeah. The doctor, the cocky mean one, managed to put surfactant through a little itty bitty tube into her lungs and open them up, and then I intubated her and got her stable. And to this day, I don't think that she would be here today if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
He saved her, and he's a fantastic doctor. Within 2 weeks of her delivery, we got neck, uh, and we got transferred to the next hospital. And that is where it kind of hit the fan. Um, Things just went in all directions. We ended up with neck 3 times. We ended up with MRSA. We ended up with a staph infection times 2. We ended up with Pseudomonas.
Jeez
Um,
Louise. Oh my
I
god.
know. And then she had pneumonia that almost took her. So that was a very hard time.
Yeah.
Um,
So what do you think was, like, the toughest, I don't wanna say illness, but, like, the toughest part of your NICU journey? Whether
Probably
it
the
be, like,
pneumonia.
emotional or, like, one of her sicknesses, or what was the worst part for you?
Um, the catalyst was pneumonia because f she just seemed different, and we kept trying to advocate for her. We were told that this is normal for her. I was like, "That these symptoms aren't normal for a normal human being. I'm not gonna sit here and say that they are normal for my micro preemie."
Right.
And finally, after a couple weeks, she coded, and then they were like, "Oh, something really is wrong." And I was like, "Yeah, no, bro. I've been trying to tell you."
So, well, run it back. So she had pneumonia for a couple weeks before anything was done?
Um, so her official diagnosis was chronic pneumonia. She had it for like a couple months.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah. And it just got worse until one day she gave out. Um, and from then, everyone thought it was a pulmonary hypertension crisis. She had echoes and EKGs every day. They put her on nitric,
I'm pregnant.
talked about sildenafil
Mm,
for long term.
uh-huh.
She was on a ventilator with maxed settings for her size. She even had sigh breaths to give her body extra. She was one step from ECMO initially,
Yeah.
and we were just like, "We know what's wrong, but nobody's listening to us."
Right.
And that was definitely the most frustrating part about the whole thing. And then the second time she coded, I felt so bad for that nurse who had her. It was one of our favorite nurses, and she was terrified to touch her because if you even walked into the room and breathed heavy, she coded. I was ready to fight everyone because I was
As you should
this is
have been.
my yeah, this is my baby. Try to see it from that perspective. It's imagine that's your baby. What would you do? We got upstairs and I remember, like, going up to Kyrie and telling her that if she couldn't hang on anymore, that I it would suck
Yeah.
and I would miss her, but it would be okay.
Yeah. Not yet, mom.
Yeah. Well, right after I said that, she had coded and Bruce and I were sitting there, and it was the lowest we have ever seen her heart rate get. I think her heart rate got to, like, the 50s or 60s. The monitor was beeping so loud, her oxygen hit 0. It was reading nothing. And they were bagging her, and they were about to start compressions, and I thought, "Is this it?" Then all of a sudden, she just stopped, her heart rate came back up, and her oxygen went back up, and they got her settled, and they agreed to paralyze her because they realized that that is probably the next best thing. Then they were like, "What do you want to do now?" And I was like, "I want you to run that sputum test I've been asking you to run for weeks now."
Mhm.
Because there's something going on. I do not believe it is a pulmonary hypertension crisis. I do not believe that this is some random normal thing for preemies who just went through a DART protocol and backtracked on steroids. I
Right.
don't believe that for a second.
Right.
They finally ran that test. So by then it was daytime. We slept not at all.
Right.
And the daytime nurse came in and she sat down with us and she was like, "I am so angry for you." Angry does not describe how I feel. That night, when the doctor who had blatantly ignored us came into her room and said, "I'm so sorry for all of this happening," and I said, "I want you to know, I'm looking at you right in your eyes right now, that if my child dies tonight, I will gladly stand in a courtroom and explain why I you up."
Period.
And she was like, "Have a nice night." And I was like, "You can take that and shove it up your ass. Go
Period.
yourself. How
Yeah.
dare you?" Don't. And ever since then, we never really saw her again. We made sure to never see her
That's
again. I
great.
specifically requested her to never have my child again.
Yeah. So, okay, that was heavy.
Yeah.
So, what were like bright spots in your NICU journey or moments that like, I don't know, felt like wins?
When we actually started getting listened to, um, I started really digging into my research and learning stuff that I feel like I personally had no business learning.
Yeah.
I was in it. Like
Yeah.
I was a doctor at that point. I was reading blood work and x-rays and like I was teaching myself how to do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not my profession. I left healthcare many years prior to this. So I'll do it for my daughter. And some of them didn't take me seriously. Some of them fought me every which way they could.
Yeah.
But there was one specific director that came on and was like, "What do you want me to do?" And I was like, "I did research. I found this new protocol and I want to try her on it." I sent her an email with all the information. She said, "Okay, I'm the new attending next week. We'll try it." and they got Kyrie down to the lowest flow we've ever seen in 2 months. Actually, no, it was in 2 weeks, and it was more than what any doctor had ever done in 2 months. They kept her intubated for 2 to 3 months, and the only reason she was extubated is because she did it herself.
I love it.
She didn't want anything to do with it anymore. The doctor was like, "I almost put the tube back in, but I decided to give her a chance."
Yeah.
And she proved herself. That's when we started the DART protocol again for the 3rd time. But 3rd time's a charm
Yeah.
because the last time she had a breathing tube is when she had her surgery for her G tube and her laser eyes.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Okay. NICU is hard, obviously, on
Yeah.
families in general. So what do you think, like, you're married, obviously. Hey, Bruce. So what do you think kinda kept y'all together? Because there's the divorce rate for NICU families is a lot higher.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but there's only room for one of us to break down, and I took it.
Yeah.
And he held strong for both of us. I honestly don't think that I would have made it through it without him. He kept strong all throughout the whole thing. I don't even know how he
Yeah.
did. Because plenty of times I was losing it and I was like, "Why are you not crying?" But reality is probably he went to the bathroom to cry later.
You're right.
He just didn't wanna see he didn't want me to see him breaking too. And I think that in a way kinda helped. Most couples, they feel very divided when they're going through that. And he quit his job to be with me at the hospital. And what nonetheless, I kinda made him, but he did it, like,
But it got
effortlessly.
done, that's all that matters.
Yeah, he did it effortlessly, and
Yeah.
he didn't have a problem with it. He wanted to be there with us and be that support, and he ended up teaching classes in the NICU. There was a how to be a dad group and where he taught other fathers how to bathe their children and how to do diaper changes, and he was
Right.
teaching these classes to other
Yeah.
men. It was really nice that we became that involved in it,
Yeah.
because we were there 11 months,
Yeah.
like, we might as well just get
Yeah.
comfy. Like, so that's what we did. I think we came out stronger because we had nobody else but us. The only one who could understand what I was going through was Bruce,
Right.
and vice versa,
Right.
and I think that helped us.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Um, so what's something that you want people to understand about having a micro preemie or having a NICU stay, especially a long NICU stay?
It doesn't end when they get discharged. Um,
Yeah.
and texting every day asking how the baby is doing is not helpful. I know it might seem like it's helpful, but we have her.
Yeah.
We need you to have us.
Yes. Yes. If you could pin a comment, that would be the one.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need the support right now. All of our energy and love and everything is pouring into our child. Like, we need you to do that for us right now. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get lost because they don't know what they should do.
Right.
Like, the hospital we were at, we had to pay for parking, we had to pay for food, we had to do all this stuff that cost us money, and we were like,
You
"Why
pay
don't
for
you pay for
parking at
parking?"
the hospital for 11 months.
Yeah, and it was like 75 to $100 a month.
A month
A month, yeah.
for 11 months.
Yeah,
It's like they just really want you to be there for your kid. Like, what do you
I
mean?
know, I mean, really, yeah.
$75 a month is insane.
It was Outrageous. Infuriating, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, so we
Okay.
were like, "If you wanna help us, why don't you pay for a month of parking?"
Yeah. You could buy us some gift
That'll help.
cards, get us food, something.
Right, yeah, but it seemed like soon as I started telling people what would be helpful, they stopped trying to be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like people want to say that they helped, but, like, do you really wanna help? Like yeah,
No, for real, that's literally how it is.
I agree. Recently, you
Oh,
started writing your book.
yes.
Right, right, right. So, what is the main thing that you want people to take from your book when they do read it?
So many things. Don't be afraid to be a bitch. Honestly, that's your kid. Even when advocating for yourself, l learn as much as you can and push back, because it's gonna seem like they don't want to do it. I think in their mind, they need more justification than, "Oh, mom said so," because I heard that multiple times. "Mother's intuition isn't backed by scientific data." Okay, I knew what was wrong with my kid before your test told me what was wrong. So, I think I know my blood more
Right,
than you know.
for sure.
So, don't be afraid to advocate. You will have enemies in the hospital when you advocate, but who cares? Who
Mhm.
cares? If they don't like you, at least you did what you had to do. I mean, that's where the title of my book came from.
Drop the title. What's the title?
It's When Too Much Was Just Enough.
Period.
I felt like the title was needed
Very
because
fitting.
after we
Yes.
got yes. Oh, because I did the most.
As you should.
Um, but I don't regret it because my child is here and thriving because of it. I remember getting discharged and one of my friends from the NICU was like, "Yeah, we heard some of the nurses talking about you or about the family." They didn't name drop or anything, but talking to me, they put the pieces together as to who they were talking about,
Right.
and they said that I was doing too much.
Hmm.
So I said, "Okay,
Baby
well,
home.
now I'm gonna use that for my book, when
Mhm.
too much was just enough," because me doing too much is what protected my child.
Right. Period. Love that.
I'm sorry if you don't like it, but I'm gonna bend over backwards for her, and I'm gonna do what I have to do,
Right.
whether you like it or not.
All right. So, what would be your advice to a NICU parent that's currently in the thick of the whole journey?
Try to find other NICU families, um, who are either in it with you or who are out of it and who have gone through it. One, they could help you advocate, especially if you feel like you can't do it yourself. Always having that backup, it it helps encourage you a little bit to be like, "Oh, you know what? That doesn't sound right. Maybe I should speak up." And
Right.
sometimes you just need that extra push because the NICU is a scary, unknown place.
Absolutely.
And it sucks doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
And it's because it's so difficult. All of the sounds and the smells and the medical terminology, it's all very overwhelming. And then seeing your baby with tubes and wires, it's not an easy sight to see.
Right.
And you need to have somebody who's been through it or who is going through it to be able to understand you.
Right. So, now that you're out of it and, we're starting to get to a new normal, how do you celebrate Kyrie and her journey as well as the milestones that she's still hitting?
Well, we used to get really excited, but she would cry when I think loud noises triggered her a little bit. So now we kind of do it silently. Like when she does something, we're like, "Did you see that?" We can't announce it because
Yeah.
then she's gonna be like, "Oh, you noticed?" I'm gonna
Right,
stop.
right.
Like a couple months ago, I was planning possibly for a cremation so I can still
Yeah,
keep a part of you, and
right.
now you're here doing all these things and getting into stuff and being a toddler and
Yes. So, what's next for you and Kyrie and your advocacy journey?
I would love to be an advocate. I think that I would be really good at it. But
No question, sorry, not to cut you off,
Mhm.
but did any of the hospitals that you were at actually have like a an advocate that they give?
Eh, I know the one that we were having problems with did. I personally felt like they didn't really do much. I think I spoke to them once and they didn't do anything. That's when I started taking the reins and being my own advocate because I felt like they could have done a lot more.
Back to your book. What was your main inspiration for writing it? Was it to push advocacy or was it more of like a release for you?
I think it was a mixture of both. I want to tell her story, but also when she gets old enough, I know she's going to ask, and I want her sisters to also know how much of a miracle she really is. That's really the only way I can put it is she's a living, breathing miracle, and they would have never known her had I not advocated so hard for her. So I would say it's a mixture of both. One, don't be afraid to speak up. You might get pushback, but as a mom,
Keep going.
Mama bear is gonna come out and you're really gonna throw down for your baby. But 2, I want her to know what actually happened because I documented everything. I might I was considering releasing a raw notes book as well, so
Mhm.
like, you could read full on what my notes actually said and how I was able to build the story from it.
Right.
Because the story I obviously didn't want just a page full of notes because my notes were literally what type of oxygen she was she on nitric, how many meds was she on, the doses that she was on, the weaning schedule, the times that I called, the times that I was there, who the nurse was. They're so detailed that I didn't want to overwhelm the people who read it, but I wanted them to see that it changed me and made me who I am right now. Don't get me wrong, before I was very opinionated, but now I feel like I can stand firm in
Yeah.
what I believe in,
Yeah.
and I will do anything to protect my kids, especially Kyrie, because she deserves any and everything that this life can give her. So that's the purpose of my book is so she can see how much she's made me the best mom.
Yeah. So where can our listeners find your book for purchase?
So you can't buy it yet, for legal reasons. But I'm hoping by next year, that legal reason is settled and done with, and then I am probably gonna try Amazon coming to me personally. I could send it over. I definitely want people to know and hear and read it. It's very raw and real and emotional. The individual the individuals who have read it have told me that after like every chapter they had to stop.
Yeah,
Uh,
I am one of those individuals.
but I just put
Definitely.
everything in there.
Yeah.
I needed it all out and known, and the perspective is from somebody who's never been in the NICU, but to understand what it's like and the feelings that you feel while you're going through it. I want you, as somebody who's never been through it, to understand how we felt and why we reacted the way that we did and why some of the things that were said, we may have been a little out of pocket with it, but we also weren't us.
We were in
And
survivor mode
yeah,
wholeheartedly. Yeah.
yeah, and it changed us completely. We are not the same people we were before that experience. No, and I don't even know who that person is anymore. I
Yeah.
can't even
Couldn't
think.
get back to her if I wanted to. It's
No,
just it is
no,
what it is, yeah.
yeah, but I also I don't regret it because it made me
So what do
who
you
I
think
am.
okay, so, after Kyrie, you had your twins. So,
Yes.
how was that experience different for you?
Well, everything. Kyrie was planned. Everything else was not. But the twins were not planned. They were more of a pleasant surprise. We got the biggest shock of our life. I walked in and ironically, it was the same woman who gave me my very first ultrasound with Kyrie. So she remembered me. She was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, you're back." And I was like, "Yeah, I had a really rough go." And she's like, "Yeah, I read your chart. I'm sorry, but we're going to think positive." In my gut, I felt like it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Unlike the first time. I
Right.
just felt like everything was gonna be fine. This was gonna be the pregnancy that was gonna change everything, and it did in multiple ways.
Yeah.
And I it was FaceTiming him, and it was doing its little ringy thing, and she put the wand on, and then she went, and I was like, "What? What?" And I'm holding the phone up, and it's still ringing, and she's like, "There's 2." And I was like, "There's what?"
I would
And
have lost it.
well, the screen popped up at that time, and soon as it popped up, you saw the 2 little things, and then Bruce answered. Oh my god, I'm holding my phone up, and he's looking, and he's like, "Holy sh." And I was just like, "Do you see that?" And he's like, "I do." And I'm like, "There's 2 of them." I broke down. I felt so bad for the woman training because she was handing me tissues and was like, "I'm sorry, you don't know what to do." I'm like, "Not only is there 2, but they're both girls." And like
Yep.
I knew in my gut they
Yep.
were both girls before blood work ever told me
Yeah.
they were girls. And so I get back to the room, I get off the phone with Bruce. I'm trying to understand
Right.
what just happened. And the doctor comes in and he sits down and he's like, "I just want to let you know you are allowed 1 cup of wine."
I need
Honey, I'm not
face.
gonna yeah, honey, I'm not gonna drink a cup. I'm gonna down the bottle. Okay. Then I go to my car. I sit in my car for like an hour before I even head home because I'm crying. I was like, "Oh, Bruce calls his mom. I called my mom. Everyone is like, "Shut up." And we're like, "Nope, it's twins." And they're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, Yes. I kind of wish I wasn't, but yes." And
Not really
it
something I
was
would joke about, promise.
no, no. It was rough, but I feel like they were the perfect dynamic
Yeah.
for our family. Like, Kyrie is so emotional with them, and they're so emotional with her, and
No, you can't separate us ever. We have to be together.
no!
I love it.
No, they love her. Every time they wake up in the morning, they're, "Where's Kyrie? She's still sleeping, baby. She's
So
coming. She's gonna wake
cute.
up." They love her,
Yeah.
and I love the big sister that she's become.
Yeah.
We made it to 23 and 6 with Kyrie. We made it to 36 and 2 with the twins. So, we didn't have any NICU time with them. That was my biggest fear. We had the NICU doctor come see us,
Yeah.
but they didn't leave my room, and we took them home, and it was so different
Yeah.
than anything that we had just went through. Like, I was a medical mom. I didn't know anything other than medical mom.
Yeah.
So, coming home and packing a diaper bag and only needing diapers and wipes and milk was
It's like being a new mom
completely
all
different.
over again.
Mhm. Yeah, because the first round, you need a suction machine, you need the cannulas, a replacement G tube, you need the feeds, you need the feeding
Yeah.
tube, you need all of it. it was so different.
Yeah.
I can see it. Like, she is gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I would love if she could be a neonatologist one day or like a nurse or something involving that to show firsthand that the NICU is hard, but I'm here because my mom is an advocate and I want her to be that advocate too. To
Yeah.
show that like miracles can and do happen and it's hard, but you can do it even if you
Well,
think
you're
that you
putting her
can't.
on the right track by giving her a voice right now as she's still finding hers. So, here
That's
we
all I
are,
can that's all I
period.
can do. I will do whatever for my girl. I will always do anything for my girl.
Aw. Sweet babies.
I know.
Um, is there anything that you wanna add about your NICU experience or about your healing experience? Because we didn't really go into that. So how was it after NICU and kinda navigating getting back into the real world? Because it's like the world stops when you're in NICU, so
Yeah. Um, I think at that point, we had lost all of our friends, because
Yeah.
they don't understand. The people you thought you knew, you don't actually know. They don't know who you are now. You're I hate to say it, like, you're a very broken version of yourself when you come out, and the first night home, we were like, "What do we do?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now we had every 3 hours, we had to feed her, we had to give her meds,
Yeah.
we had to give her breathing treatments. It was almost like a newborn baby, but without waking up to give them a bottle. It was completely different, and when Kyrie was in the NICU, I had psychosis. I was literally hallucinating. And I would in my mind, she's in our bed, she's in our room, and she's not there at all. And
Yeah.
I would like destroy our room. I would destroy our bed. Bruce would wake up and stare at me like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "She was right here." And he's like, "No, she wasn't." And I was like, "No, I swear she was. I saw myself put her in our bed. I could feel her. I felt myself roll on top of her like she's gone, but she's not here." And he's like, "No, she was never here."
Oh.
That happened consistently for months.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that she wasn't there
Yeah.
because that's an out of body experience.
Yeah.
I was watching myself do that. When you're like, "Why am I not stopping myself?
Right.
Wake up.
Right.
Hello? Can nobody hear me? Come on. What's going on?" And I felt like a zombie. I couldn't control anything. I was
Yeah.
just watching myself do these crazy things. And that's not talked about enough. When people hear psychosis, they think like, "Oh, that's bull crap." That's not a thing. And like you see moms murdering their children and not justifying that at all.
Right.
However, when she comes out of it and she realizes what she's done, that's going to be torture enough.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, I can promise you she's watching herself do it, but she cannot stop her body from doing it. That is why
So
I am thankful she was in the NICU when I
yeah.
was going through that. Because I'm afraid that if she wasn't, me imagining her being in our bed could have very well been a real scenario.
Right.
But thankfully, I after the twins, I really wanted to focus on EMDR, which is I think it's eye movement desensitization, reprocessing.
Mhm.
It's an incredibly intense form of therapy. It's almost reliving your trauma in that situation all over again, and that has been probably one of the best things that I've ever done. I definitely recommend that because the NICU can cause a form of PTSD, and that's what EMDR is for. It's for
Speaking of
PTSD.
PTSD, do you feel that Kyrie possibly has some form of PTSD or any type of like trauma, well, besides the obvious trauma from the NICU.
I do. Yeah. They'd always say she's not gonna remember this, but I think her body does. Uh, there have been times where she would just, like, cry out in her sleep.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know, I just don't believe their whole, "She's not gonna remember."
Yeah.
I think she does,
Yeah.
and that makes me sad because she knows more than I do, more of what they did
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah. Poor babies. But are there any resources, organizations, or communities that you would recommend for other NICU families?
Um, well, that's kinda where we're starting this, because there was a very popular Facebook group that I do not recommend. They were not helpful. They were mean. I think it was, like, micro preemies. I can't even remember the name of the group.
It was like Micro Preemie Support Network or something like,
Yes! Yes. They're
but
not supportive at all.
the
Just
irony
saying.
though, like, yeah,
I
they are,
know.
but that's actually where we met, so it worked for
But
something.
yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. That it does connect you with a lot of great people, I will
Yeah.
say that, but a lot of the time, they're not the best.
Yeah.
I think other NICU families are probably definitely the go-to because they've been through it, like, or they are going through it, and they understand a different side of it. The sad reality is everyone who you thought was your friend and loved and cared for you don't know how to love and care for you when you come out of that, and it's easier to have individuals who relate to that.
Agreed.
Facebook has a lot of groups where you can search individual needs. TikTok is now becoming a huge thing where you're able to find other families who are going through it, have gone through it. It's scary to stand toe to toe with doctors because you're supposed to trust them. And sometimes that's not the reality. That's kind of where we can come in is because we've done it and we we were despised for it,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'll do it again.
Every single time. There's no second thoughts, like, it is what it is. Hate me, but my baby's here. It's fine.
Exactly. So I think other NICU families and hopefully we can become that for other families. I would love to build a nice community. Maybe we can build more resources. Or the other group that I just remembered is 22 Matters.
That's cute, okay.
Um, they're also really good. They provide a map of all of the local hospitals that will help save 22
I
weeks,
love
23 weeks.
at this point, we can just put together a list of the ones that we do like and try to share that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Is there anything that I missed or anything that you would just like to share, get out, or
I guess the only thing is the last bit before we end it is some of the stuff, like Kyrie's first blood
tiny to
pressure
look at the
cuff.
baby's work?
That's how tiny it is. It can fit around my pinky. Oh yeah, her first ever pair of goggles for the Billy
Max.
lights,
Yeah.
the Billy goggles. Oh, her first ever nasal cannula and how tiny it
Little
is.
tiny prongs.
Yep, look at my pinky.
But not even how small the loop is, like, oh, that goes
I
around their head,
know.
like
I know, like my heart.
right.
And then we saved so much stuff, like her first ever boot. She had to have a little boot. But I remember when they told me they were making her a little boot and I came in, I don't know what I was thinking in my head when they said it, but this was not what I was expecting. honestly.
Yeah, that would have been my
And
thought either.
no, so when I saw it, I was like, "Okay, I want that."
Okay,
And
but
thankfully, it does.
the funny thing is that I believe those are trach ties that they used. I believe those
Honestly, they might be. I have no
we have
idea.
we have trach ties for Delaney, obviously, and they are those little blue stars with the Velcro. I think those are trach ties. That's so
That's
stinking
even
cute,
cuter because
right?
it worked. You
That
know
is so
what? It
cute. I
worked.
love that.
That's how we were able to protect her leg. Because one day when I came into the NICU, her skin on her leg was gone, and nobody could tell me what happened. And I was like, "How does a chunk of my baby's leg just go missing?" Like,
Her
what?
skin was gone?
Her skin, yeah, it was gone. So now when you look at her leg, you can see the scar around her calf where it was just gone.
What?
Yeah. And sometimes she'll drag that leg.
Poor
Not
thing.
often, but I
Yeah,
definitely feel like there's some mild muscle damage
yeah.
there. The other thing is her diaper.
The little micro preemie diapers.
Yeah. Here's
Look,
my phone.
little tiny baby.
I think this is a 16.
Mhm.
An iPhone 16, but yeah, the size comparison, it's half the phone,
Crazy.
and even
Right,
then, she was still so tiny for it.
right.
They had the tightest it could go, and then the one thing I can post pictures of it, she loved this octopus. I
Was thinking cute.
I got 2 of them for her, 2 of them made, and this was the one that she clinged to the most, and I got pictures of her cuddling this thing. That's also a huge thing. NICU babies love this. Um,
So I actually didn't get Delaney one when she was in the NICU, but I actually got her one recently and she's still obsessed. Loves it. Like
I
it's
don't know what
something
it is.
about it's the tentacles because it reminds them of the cords. You know, they play with the
Oh,
cords, they wiggle around, they do all that. It's the tentacles.
that makes sense.
Yep.
That totally makes sense.
Yep.
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, you can find them on, like, Etsy. Definitely recommend. And
Yeah.
also, you give it to your baby, like, if you're a pumping NICU mom, you can give this to your baby, get their scent, and then when you go pump, you can put it in your
It helps
chest.
a lot.
It helps so much, but also when you give it back to your baby, it now smells
It
like
smells like
you,
you. Yep.
and they love that. Then the last thing is it's small, but her little diploma
Cute.
for when we graduated. I
That is
had to
so
get it.
freaking cute. I love it.
We even had a
Wait,
cap
is that
made.
crocheted too?
Yep, it's a crochet
I
diploma.
love it. That's so stinking cute.
I wanted to keep it forever.
I
And then
love
we have a little cap, that we put on her, and we still have her NICU graduate onesie that we put on her when we left. Yeah. I love all this stuff. It took me, like, 3 years to finally be able to make it, but we did.
yeah.
And I forgot, we also have her very first Binky, and
Oh,
here's
yeah.
another size reference.
Very
Look how
much tiny,
tiny that is.
sweet baby.
And she loved her Binky. Oh man, looking through all that, just
Brings back
my
all the feels,
girl.
all the memories.
I know, and, like, how does this even happen?
Right. Right. Like,
Literally fits around my pinky.
and it's like to imagine, to think about the fact that all those things, like, that's the smallest size you can possibly get, and they were still big on the babies.
Yes, they were yes. That puts it into a scary perspective.
Yes.
Like, that's my pinky.
Yeah. And that was wrapping around a baby's whole arm. Like,
Yes, and it was like a sleeve.
crazy to really think
I
about it.
know. God, they have been through so much.
They
I hope
have.
they understand how strong they are. I mean, I'm sure they know, but I hope they know, like, really understand that when they get older.
Mhm. Babe, keeping you here was definitely a labor of love. Like,
It was, but I would do it again.
Every
and
time?
again and
With
again.
no questions asked.
Nope. As long
Mm,
as it got me the same end result, I
yeah,
I don't know what I would do if I didn't have Kyrie or Lainey or Maddie. Like I
right.
sometimes I'm like, if I could go back and do it again, I may never have kids, but that's a lie.
Yeah.
I know that's a lie.
Once you get to see them, get to know them, see their little personalities, it's like, ugh, what would my life have been like without you? Like, would I even have a life without you, honestly?
Yeah, no. They save you in ways that you didn't even think were possible.
Yeah,
I always say I always say that I don't think that I was meant to be a mother, but I believe that my children were meant for me.
absolutely.
And that is what makes it easier to be a mother because I should have healed way more than what I did, but I healed now. And now I'm the best version of myself for them. And Kyrie helps me with that.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your story today. I know our listeners are going to connect deeply with everything that you've been through.
And next time, we'll flip the script so you can hear Destiny's story and the lessons she's learned along the way, too.
Until then, thank you so much for listening to Ounces and Miracles. If you've been in the NICU, are currently going through it, or even if you know someone who has, please reach out.
We're here to share support, advice, advocacy tips, and more because no one should walk this journey alone. And if you're a family member or friend who isn't sure how to support NICU parents, this space is for you too.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you'd like to share your story or learn more, we'd love to connect.
And remember, every ounce
It's truly a miracle.